Wondering how to collect those email addresses legally and also in a way where you have a peace of mind? Well, let's talk about that today. Welcome to Law Chat 101 with Girija Patel, and I am really looking forward to having this conversation with you today. A lot of times when I'm going and speaking with smaller groups, whether it's photography, whether it's an event company, whether they're online business stores, or, at the end of the day, we're all collecting email addresses. Email addresses are also part of our value. At the end of the day, when we have a big database of email addresses, we can actually sell that as an asset, and it adds value to our business. So email addresses come with a lot of value. But why? Well, because it all falls under the whole concept of privacy. And because there are a lot of privacy issues surrounding email addresses, we need to make sure that while we're collecting this amazing asset in our business, we need to do it in a way that's legally legit and in a way where we can have a peace of mind when we are asking for those email addresses. So a lot of times you're collecting those email addresses on your website. And when you're collecting them on your website, you have users going in and out of your website. Some of the best ways that someone actually collects them from their website is through a pop-up. You get on a pop-up, you say, hey, you want my newsletter? Or they get on your newsletter subscribe list because they've bought something from you or if they've purchased something from you. So there are different points where that email addresses can be shared. So let's talk about those points before we get into what to do once you've collected it. One of the best ways on your website itself, first and foremost, let's start with there, you need to have a privacy policy. That privacy policy needs to be there because it's required by law. And not only that, but most countries have pretty stringent rules on privacy. And if you're an online business, assume that your website is going to be accessed by everybody globally, even though you might be doing business in a very certain niche area or a region in maybe the United States or maybe somewhere else. But you need to assume that anybody can access it because a lot of times these privacy policies reach out and reach over the country that they're sitting in. So for example, the GDPR is not just for people who are using it in an EU country, but it's also for people who might be a EU resident but might be living in a different country and they're accessing your website. And so therefore, that GDPR extends out and it reaches over and says, hey, by the way, our country privacy policy applies to you. And so assume that. And your privacy policy should be very clear. It should be transparent. It shouldn't be hard to understand either. So you can make it as simple and friendly as possible. It doesn't have to be all legalese as well. And quite frankly, all you need to share on that is how do you use the information that people are sharing with you, their personal information? Why do you use it in a certain way? Who do you share it with? Why do you share it with them? And also if you're selling it to anybody or what you're doing with it, like what are you doing at the end of the day with this information? You need to be clear. You also need to show opt-out ways. How can they opt out? How can they get more information? So have contact information there so that they can reach out to somebody and that somebody needs to be a real person, that somebody needs to be able to reply as well and do some call to action if your user is requesting it. So have a privacy policy there. There's definitely more information on that. I have tons of videos on privacy policies. I also have a lovely privacy policy template. If you don't have it, it's on Your Contract Buddy. So go grab it as well. Now, from the privacy policy, you have different points of access to email addresses. One of those could be an opt-in pop-up box that happens, or it could be at the time of purchase, like when they're actually buying something for you, or they're trying to download something from you. And so when those things happen, you need to ask and request and have that manual confirmation checkbox. Don't do an auto check. Auto checks are now getting banned from many different countries. And so it's best to always adhere to one of the most stringent policies so you are ready to rock and roll when those policies become a thing for where you are. And one of those things is to actually have a manual yes checkbox where your user, your customer, your client knows that they are saying yes to the privacy policy, they're saying yes to your terms and conditions, and they're also saying yes to getting newsletters or your publications or any other marketing emails or promotions that you might be sending them. So have that manual yes confirmation checkbox. Now, when that yes checkbox comes, I know behind the scenes, your email converter is working really hard. So whatever server you're using generally takes that email and puts it into the database. Once that email is collected in the database, generally you're sending out an email immediately to this user. And that email is usually just saying, hey, welcome to the family or welcome to the community, something like that. So when that happens, I would personally suggest, even though they've already said yes to it, but have another double email opt-in. What does that mean? That means that when they're getting that first email, let them know what they've done. Let them know that, hey, welcome to our email database. Welcome to our community. This is what this looks like. This is what we're going to be doing with you. And make sure that what you're sharing with them actually reflects your business practices. Like, what are you doing with this email? What are you sharing with them via email? And why are you sharing it? And then also within that email, give them the opportunity to opt out. And opting out, not just the one that normally everybody has as you scroll down, but give them that opportunity, very transparent, very clear, very much right in their face, saying, hey, if you don't want to be a part of this email group, totally fine, opt out right now, let us know, hit reply. Now, with the opt-out button, it needs to be present in every single email because that just gives the user the ability to opt out when they want, and they can unsubscribe at any given point in time. Usually, if you're in an email group like ConvertKit or something similar to that nature, they already have it automatically included, but make sure it's there because it's a good business practice. Now, these are a lot of things that you can be doing with the email addresses. And generally, this is just, some quick ways to make sure that you're doing it right. Now, say you're at a conference and you're collecting emails over there. Let them know that, hey, by the way, you got onto my email list because you were at a conference and this is how I got access to your email. Now, it's really important to show transparency in how you got access. Why? Well, you don't necessarily have to all the time, but it's a great business practice. It also shows that you're just wanting to make sure that people are familiar with you and aware of you, and you're not just trying to sneak into their inbox through a sneaky way, right? Nobody likes to know that their email address has been sold to somebody else or someone else has access to it because they did XYZ. Now, in reality, we all know it happens, but in actual effectiveness, it's really annoying. And so why be that annoying business owner? Instead, let them know how you got that email and let them know that, hey, listen, if you don't want to be a part of this community, up to you, totally fine. Opt out right now, unsubscribe with us. And so that way, again, transparency, you're gaining trust and you're allowing people the ability to exit if they want to. And if they want to stay on and hang out with you, cheers to you. So this video was packed with information, but quick, easy, bite-sized information. You have more questions because there's definitely more questions out there and there's definitely more laws that apply to what you are doing. And this was very general in nature, so I'd love to have a longer chat with you. And if you want to be a part of the GBP Laws community and network, please subscribe now so that you can get the latest and greatest coming out of GBP Law, and you can learn more about email marketing and also how to market properly so that way you're not getting into a sticky situation legally. So get on that newsletter and I will see you again. Bye.